Hello, and welcome to episode 30 of the Knotted Knits podcast. My name is Amy, and this is my YouTube channel where I share all about my fiber adventures. Today is May 5th, and we are running on a whole new level of tired in my house today. So this is going to be a little bit of a slower episode, but it's been about 3 weeks since I've gotten to sit down and record, and we are due for a catch up. So grab yourself a beverage and we will go ahead and have a little get together for a little while. I can be found on Instagram as the_knotted_knitter, and Instagram is where I am most active. I've got no administration to cover today besides the reminder, if you are participating in the Fiber Friends sock swap, I hope you've reached out to your partner, and to keep in mind that we are now in the month of May, and there's roughly 3 weeks to send your partner their swap package, and I hope everybody is having a good experience with that. If you're having any troubles or any struggles along the way, please reach out to myself or Rachel of the Pearls and Polish podcast, because we want this swap to be a blast for everybody. And with those administrative things that I didn't have to talk about being out of the way, we're going to hop right in with finished objects. And I've got quite a bit of knitting done over these past 3 weeks, and I have 3 finished projects to share with you guys today. The first finished object you guys have seen, I just want to show them as a slightly cleaner pair of socks. These are my Fangirl Fiber socks that I was knitting a couple of weeks ago while we were at Hershey Park, and I had spilled iced tea on them. I did wash them, however the stain really didn't come out the whole way. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It is showing up on camera. It's unfortunate, but it's okay. These socks are for me. They aren't a gift or anything like that. So it's not really the end of the world, but I know I had some people who were concerned on the last episode. So I just wanted to show that I did wash them. They blocked out beautifully, but unfortunately the entire stain did not come out of the sock. And I think that's in part to having let the sock sit and the tea stain set in the sock. I didn't wash it right away. And I think that's how that happened. The second finished project is another pair of socks, and I really don't remember if I even showed this pair of socks as a work in progress. I knit both of these pair of socks on US 0 9-inch circular needles with 60 stitches, a 20-row cuff. 70 rows is where I've been stopping for my leg. This pair, I do think I actually did 60. My main color was a skein of yarn from Hue Loco in the Hocus Pocus collection, and this maroon at the top is it was a substantial scrap skein that I had in my stash, but they are absolutely beautiful. I love these colors. This has been the palette that I have been gravitating to for this year, with the pinks and purples and blacks, and love the little green speckles down in here. When I looked, this was my 7th pair that I knit this year. So I am not on any great rush to knit a ton of pair of socks for this year. I'm just enjoying having a pair of socks on the needles and having it fill up that portable knitting time that I need. If I end the year with 12 pair, great. If I end the year with 24 pair, great. I might be selling some of my hand knit socks. I am considering setting up a vendor space in a local shop in the fall. So right now I'm just knitting for the fun of it, but you'll see at another project that I've cast on, I'm also looking at the potential of projects that I could sell in the future, but also things that are still portable and things that I enjoy knitting. The third and final project for this episode was in my Taylor Swift bag from Stitching Plaza, and this is my Springline tee that I test knit for Samantha Guerin. And I knit this sweater using Knit Picks Stroll Fingering in the Paisley Heather color. And that is what I have left. Hard to tell how much that really is on the screen, but it's roughly 25 to 30 grams of a 50-gram skein. I purchased 4 grams. I purchased 4 or 5 balls, I don't actually remember, for this project, and I did not use all of them. I am loving the tea. I really should put this on, but I am so cozy in my sweatshirt today that I'm not going to. But I promise in a future episode I will wear this so you can see it on my person. I do have finished object pictures on my Instagram and Ravelry pages if you really want to know what it looks like on. This is the tea. And I think it turned out so beautiful. This is a top-down construction. I used US 4 knitting needles for this project, worked top down, and I used size 2 needles for all of the ribbing. When I showed this on the last episode, I had commented of wanting to rip out my bind off because it was not as neat as I wanted it to be. I did not do that. What I did was block the sweater, and then there was a part here at the front where it was still just looking a little unusual to me, and I can't say that it was a duplicate stitch, but I did stitch over it. Took yarn. So to make that look a little neater, I kind of, I can't say knit over, but wove it in more like an end that was sticking up a little bit to clean that up and make it a little tidier. On the wrong side, you can see I still have the end to snip, but it ended up being an absolute dream to knit this tee. It is size inclusive. That's one thing I love about Samantha is how inclusive she is to accommodate her patterns for all sizes. If I remember correctly, this goes from a 23 or 32 to a 67-inch bust size. I knit the size 46 and have plenty of ease. It was laying on my dresser, so it does have a little bit of wrinkle in it, but it fits so beautifully. The Knit Picks Stroll gave a beautiful stitch definition to the lace panel that runs through the left and right front side panels, and I just love this. Samantha knit hers in a white color that looks beautiful. There was a version knit with longer 3/4 sleeves, and I thought that looked beautiful. I liked how some of the other test knitters styled them over dresses and skirts, and it just had a really pretty flowy springtime look for it. So I was late on getting this video recorded for the day that the pattern released, but highly recommended. Definitely a beginner friendly project. The chart is short. It is also a written chart, but it is also a chart with a key and symbols that is a normal, normal knitting chart. And I really don't think that I have much else to say about the top. I loved it. Using Knit Picks yarn definitely kept it on the more affordable side for me, which is what I wanted. And it was nice to get to treat myself to a couple of new skeins and just really focus on getting that project done. So having 3 finished projects, that means I have 3 works in progress. I believe all of these are new projects, which I'm really excited about. So let's go ahead and dive in with the most recent cast on. The reason that I am rather tired and have not been able to sit down and podcast over the past couple of weeks is we were in back to back musical and dance events for Lillian. I tried to share in my stories what she had going on as it related to my knitting, but she had her school musical, and I was so nervous to watch her perform in her lead role for the first time that I did not knit at all during the performance, which is very unusual for me. However, yesterday she had her 8th dance recital with the studio that she dances with, and that meant a day where once she was backstage in the dressing rooms, I was free to knit and just enjoy a beautiful show. She danced in 2 shows, and the first show, the auditorium was so packed. We all felt like we were hunched in, sitting like this a little bit, which obviously did not make for comfortable knitting. So I did not knit during her first show. I just sat back and I watched all of the beautiful dancing, and it was a wonderful show. However, the second show was less crowded, which means we both had a seat that was empty next to us. So I was able to kind of sit a little sideways and have a little bit more freedom to knit. And knowing that it was going to be in a semi-dark auditorium, I wanted a project that was going to be small, that was not going to be anything complicated, but something that I was going to enjoy, which meant I was not taking a pair of socks with me, because the sock project I have, we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. I did to cast on the Manhattan hat, and that is a paid for pattern on Ravelry, and I've seen a couple of people knit it and figured why not. So I dug in my stash and I have some hand spun yarn from quite a while ago. I have 2 balls. This is the first one. It was 55 grams when I started. I'm probably halfway, maybe more, through it by now. And I cast on the Manhattan hat, and I knit all of this yesterday in 2.5 hours. This project is just amazing. And I think it's the combination of using hand spun yarn that is really making this look even better. Unfortunately, I do not remember where this fiber came from. I don't even remember when I spun this, but it is working wonders for this project. It's it's just absolutely beautiful. I love the squish that I have, but there's also a great deal of negative ease. I cast on for the adult small, and I am following, the pattern has a worsted weight version, and it also has a lightweight version. I purchased one of the patterns. I don't remember which version I picked, but I opted for the adult small, and I figure if I was concerned with the hat fitting, I would have done a gauge swatch. But I was comfortable and confident that using size US 3 needles, this is more of a sport weight yarn, that I would be able to get a texture and fabric that I love, and I am. The hat will have a folded over brim. I'm making sure that it's long enough for that, and it was great to just work on this project yesterday evening. I honestly got a lot more knitting done than I expected to, but it was kind of nice to be able to sit and just work round and round on this project. So that is the first work in progress. And I didn't say, but the yarn I did have in my cottontail little pouch. It was great just to have this to clip on my purse. This way I didn't have to worry about losing the yarn, and could just tuck everything in my purse when I was done, and to work my way around the auditorium and through the concession stand line. The next project on the needles is a pair of socks, and I didn't take this project with me yesterday because I am too close to needing to measure for the foot length and work decreases, and I didn't want to have to do that yesterday. I wanted yesterday to be a mindless project of just knitting. So these socks have been more of my lunchtime knitting and getting those 20 rows a day done some days, not every day, but I am using yarn from Arcane Fiberworks, and this is one of the skeins that my husband bought me last summer, and it's a beach themed colorway. I will put it in the show notes below because I don't remember what it is and I don't have the label for it anymore. I did 70 rows for the leg, and these will be knit to fit a US 8 size women's foot. And yeah, they've just been the portable lunchtime project. Again, they would have been fantastic for yesterday, but I wanted something new. I didn't want to have to worry about knitting on a sock yesterday, which is why I didn't take these with me. And again, they're in my A Needle Runs Through It bag. This has just been, as I finish one sock project, I put another one in it. It's just right there and convenient, and what I've been using. The third and final project is extremely exciting. This is in my bag from Stitching the High Notes, and this is a project that you guys have seen the yarn for, but boy do I have a lot of progress made on this project. So this is the Scotchbroom Wrap. It is a test knit that I am working on for Wool and Pine Designs, and this is a pattern that will be released later on this month. So although I have a lot of knitting done, I still have a lot of knitting to do. Ta-da! So this is a top-down wrap style cardigan, and I'm kind of struggling to hold it. So it is, I'm going to say about halfway done. I have been really enjoying the construction of this top and love the drape of the yarn. Yarn that I'm using is from Moondrake Yarn. It is in the mauve colorway. It's the gray base and it is a yak silk fingering weight yarn with 65% superwash merino, 20% silk, and 15% yak. And guys, it's dreamy. I did have yarn support for this project, so I did not purchase this yarn, but it is amazing to work with. The color is a beautiful mauvey pink, and it's going to drape so beautifully when it is blocked out. So today is May 6th. I have 10 days to get this finished. I need to knit 2 sleeves and a very slightly intricate edging for this project. So my plan for this week is to get all of the waistband work and edging done, and then to tackle the sleeves. I still have a decent amount of the second skein of yarn. I don't know if this is going to be enough to work the entire waistband, but I'm hoping it will be, because I'm a little nervous with how the waistband is constructed of joining a new ball of yarn in the middle of the waistband. But I'm also nervous of the need to join a new skein of yarn with how the sleeves are constructed. So my plan is to work the waistband with all of this yarn that I possibly can, and then see how much I need of these 2 skeins for the sleeves. Either way, I'm confident of being able to weave in the ends so it doesn't show, but I just want to make sure, because this project has silk and is going to have such a good drape, that I can really weave in those ends and make sure everything just looks good. I was not expecting to have stash enhancement for this episode. However, I was surprised with a gift from my husband. And so we were debating, not very seriously, but we were having some serious conversations about the eclipse of going up to New York and spending the weekend and the eclipse Monday in the Path of Totality. Where we go on vacation in the summer is in upstate New York, and the area was scheduled for 100% visibility of the eclipse. Lillian was getting out of school early that day, and I would have needed to take, well, we both would have needed to take time off of work, but I really was hesitant because if the weather was bad, the hotel was quite pricey, and I just couldn't justify the trip. So we didn't go. But he did surprise me with a skein of yarn from Destination Yarn, and it is in the Total Eclipse color. And I love how bright this is. And I'm also counting and saving this for Summer Sock Camp, because I feel like Total Eclipse of the Heart is an absolute 80-90 song that we all know and should love. And just with how bright these colors are, I think it's going to be a perfect project for Summer Sock Camp, hosted by Kay the Crazy Sock Lady. So I'm hanging on to this for like 3 more weeks because time is flying. And I was teasing when he was showing me the website of the yarn, and I had said, you know, a skein of yarn can't travel alone. It's just not safe. So he got these notions from Katrinkles, and they are stars and moons and suns and just fun fun, glittery progress markers and stitch markers, and I love them. So I thought that was really great. So surprise acquisitions that I wasn't expecting for this episode. And it was a nice surprise. It made up for not taking the trip, but we're in May. We're already looking at what vacations we're taking and how we're spending our summertime, which is really kind of hard to believe because I feel like it was just January and cold and we were all bundled up inside with blankets. Now, on the last two podcasts, I've been attempting to give away 2 skeins of yarn. These 2 skeins from Emily of Fangirl Fibers in the Evermore and in the Cruel Summer colorway. Now, I had not heard back from the original winner, and I figure we've given it about 3 weeks, so I drew for 2 new winners. So first person to get in contact with me can pick which one they'd like, and the second person will get the one that is left. I really can't do it any other way to keep it fair. It would be great if one of you wants one and the other one's the one that's left over, but I know my luck, that is not going to happen. However, Creative Yarnaholic and Casey Knits, please reach out to me on Instagram because you are the winners for one of these 2 skeins. So one of you will get one of you will get the other. I just need you to send me a message on Instagram with your shipping details and I will get these in the mail to you. And thanks for watching. Thanks for, commenting and engaging with the channel and coming back to watch my little updates and chats with you guys. Because that's it. That's all of the knitting content for this episode. It is project and progress heavy. And I'm realizing having bigger projects on the needles, the Springline tee and the Scotchbroom Wrap, that's my 4th and 5th sweater for this year. And as soon as I'm done the wrap, I have another test knit for a garment, which will be my 6th garment for the year. So I'm lining things up to have 1 sweater done a month, and I am loving that for myself. I'm realizing I am enjoying knitting garments a lot more. I can't necessarily say more than socks, but my sock drawer is full. And having these longer term projects that either the yarn is something new and exciting or the stitch pattern is something new and exciting to me, I am really enjoying that. Yes, I am looking forward to summer sock camp. I am excited to really dive into my sock yarn stash and work what I have in my stash for camp and to participate in the Fiber Friends sock swap. But at the same time, I am loving having garment projects on the needles. I'm not getting bored with them at all, and I'm still able to pepper in smaller projects as time and activities allow. There might not be bi-weekly podcasts because I don't know if it warrants sitting down every week or every 2 weeks to show just a little bit of progress. So for me, it's fun to be able to sit down and show I'm starting something, which I did last episode with the Moondrake yarn. I got to show you guys the yarn, and here we are in a second episode with over half of the project done to chat about it a little bit, and then with any luck, the next time we sit down will be within 2 weeks and I'll have the project done and I can give you a full recap on my work, what I think of everything, the project details, and not just have a check-in to say I've got a couple of inches worked on the project and feel like it's wasting all of our times, because I know how many knitting podcasts are out there, and I really appreciate those of you who come back to spend your time with me. So that was a big ramble I wasn't quite expecting. So let's chat life stuff for a minute. As you will expect, we've been either at the school for musicals or we have been at dance related events, which is why these projects that I've been working on as the small portable projects have been perfect for those activities. We are kind of slowing down for a little bit because the dance season is unofficially over, but Lillian did audition for a summer musical, and we are gearing up for those rehearsals to start next week possibly. And that's it. We haven't really looked at what we're doing in the garden this year. We might plant tomato plants and cucumbers, we might not. Last year we had wild ideas and then we just lost steam on them. So I don't know that we're going to go all out with a vegetable garden this year. And I just feel like we're kind of finding a nice gradual ease into summertime here. School will be done at the end of the month, which is kind of hard to believe. And I'm just looking forward to the fun of the summer season and not really having many concrete plans and just kind of going with the flow and whatever comes along our way. So I hope you guys are all doing well and enjoying your day. And I will see you guys in a couple of weeks with another episode. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.